Top of the morning, top of the morning. I'm gonna go ahead and get this video out the way. Um, Thank y'all for your continued support. First time here, like, share, subscribe, comment. Um, I figure it's only right that I do this video. Um, I did the rest of them. I've been covering this since the beginning, so I figure I might as well cover the conclusion, right? The 10-month long saga of Brittany Griner being detained in Russia is over. It's going to be a lot of mixed emotions and feelings about this, rightfully so. Um, if you take the emotion out and look at the logical standpoint of it, you do understand the reason for the differences of opinions across the board. Right? This is it's going to be very interesting to see what details and facts they actually release. Um, Honestly, I think that Putin is a better negotiator than Joe Biden. Um, I personally believe that Russia has gotten the upper hand on this deal. Um, I don't know, and I don't know. I don't know what they could have returned to us that would have been of equal value. To be honest, um, we all know Brittany Griner, WNBA star, played for the Phoenix Mercury. I think their names are. She also played during the off season, during the WNBA off season. She played in Russia professionally. Hence the reason why she was trying to leave. She was detained. Um, the more facts that come about her detainment, it leads you to believe what was originally thought, that she was just used as propaganda and a bargaining chip. Um, just being honest, calling a spade a spade. Um, the, the marijuana cartridge or whatever it's supposed to have been, it was a microscopic amount. Um, Her detainment even went against Russia laws and protocols, right? Just being honest. So you always knew that her detainment was a bigger play. Just not to take her. I mean, like she got caught up in propaganda. I mean, there's no way to, um, to frame that. You also got to be smart and not giving people, especially a country like Russia, a reason to try to detain, right? Um, all other Americans that was in that area fled the area without detainment. Pretty sure they were looking for reasons to detain as many Americans as they could. She just was the one that they could find something to try to hold on. Um, the guy Victor Bout that she was exchanged for, I think everyone knows who this guy is by now. He's one of the most prolific arms dealers in the history of the world. Period. Um, the weapons he sold were used directly in genocide type events, right? Um, Mainly in and around countries in Africa. Um, some of his arms were also used against U.S. service members abroad. Like I said in my previous videos, when you sign that contract, you understand the certain dangers that you take upon when you're um, traveling abroad, right? As a U.S. service member, that is. Um, what will be the fallout from this? We all have to wait and see. We don't have crystal balls to see um, how Victor bout will play out and how Brittany Griner, how her story ends, right? With Victor bout, I'm probably about 99.1% sure that he's going to go back to what he does best. Um, he probably just would be smart enough not to go to any countries that have extradition treaties with the U.S. I'm pretty sure like that will that'll be part of his movement going forward. People like this, when they're detained, this don't make them learn any less, especially when they detained by a foreign government, especially a government like the United States. This doesn't make them say, "Oh, I learned my lesson. Let me go away." No, this makes them more angry, and they going to find a way to do what they was doing previously, just on another scale. Which is on his scale, I don't even know how you get larger. Like, how can you become more prolific than he already was? Well, that's actually I do know, and I'm not even going to utter that. But I think everybody out there with a half a brain can understand where he could go to after after this, like the levels, the type of weaponry he can sell. Um, I was having a text conversation about this earlier, and a valid point was made. Well, no, I was asked already, like, why now? And really, I'm just looking like, to my understanding, they've been offering this guy for Brittany Griner, right? But the why now question was very important. And it is true, they've been offering the Victor Bout guy for Brittany Griner. That's true. But it was 2 points. It was one point that was an additional point that was raised, and an additional point that I thought of later. And that was, it's interesting that they wait till after the primary is over to conduct this swap, right? And I wholeheartedly believe, and that was like, oh yeah, that's a great point, right? Not only because they waited to after the primary. More importantly, they waited to after this runoff in Georgia, when now the Democrats control the Senate, right? They waited to after that, and I believe fully not because of just Victor Bout and Brittany Griner swap, right? It's the fact that they couldn't include Peter Willen in that deal. They couldn't get Russia to include Peter Willen in that deal, and it'd have been way back. It'd been way less backlash if Griner and Willen was included in that deal, but Griner and Bout straight up. It's an alarming deal. Um, you could tell that deal was political and public driven. Um, there's no way possible that Joe Biden would have been able to run again for president in 2024. Well, actually, next year. That's when the shenanigans kick off. Um, if Brittany Griner was still incarcerated in Russia, it's no way, no way possible. Um, Peter Willen was detained in Trump's presidency. It wasn't Biden's presidency that he was initially, but it just carried over to Biden's presidency. But he was originally, pardon me, detained during Trump's presidency. He's been incarcerated over there for 4 years. Well, detained, incarcerated. Um, which his charges are far more serious. Um, I don't really think that's propaganda driven, but I do believe that anytime Russia has the ability to detain an American, they're going to do so. Um, I know. I mean, I ran into a couple of Americans who say they love vacationing in Russia. They spend a significant time in Russia, and I just personally wouldn't go there. Like, I don't have a reason to go there. That's not on my bucket list. Like, it just isn't. because I understand the propaganda machine, which is Russia, and that's they're going to try to use everything. And it's not just American citizens; it's just a bonus to being an American citizen. But they try to detain pretty much any foreign person they can. It's just the way they do business, and they're not going to come out and tell you that because they still receive a higher than what you would believe amount of tourism, right? Um, but like I said, when it comes to the matter of Griner and Willing, clearly the Russian government, um, Putin, he is the Russian government, pretty much. Um, they stared America in the face and they played chicken. And pretty much told them, like, we're dead serious with her doing 9 years in Russian prison, right? So, and I think that heightened when the moment they transferred her to that penal colony, the stakes went up, right? Like, yo, we're not playing. Like, we are dead serious about her spending 9 years in incarcerated in Russia. Um, and those penal counties, they have American jails, even the ADX in Florence, Colorado. I'm telling you, this is some of the most harshest stuff you ever could think of. Like, and Americans ain't built for that. I'm going to tell you, like the hardest American criminal that spent 50, 60 years in prison, you ain't built for the Russian penal colonies. Like, that's a whole nother level of incarceration. You know what I mean? But I think everything they did from how they show her walking with somebody holding her hands in shackles with the dogs following behind her, her being in that little cage, and she's clearly has to like bend over. She's too tall for the cage, like just like a caged animal. You know what I mean? I think the imagery of showing her like that, it was intentionally done and well executed, right? Because that's going to create a certain amount of outcry from an American. Like, we don't even do people like that, which we actually do, but we don't visually see us doing people like that, right? So that perception, 90% of reality is perception, right? Perception is 90% reality, just a fact, you know. Um, so when she's depicted like she's an animal, a caged animal, and then she's a black, she's a minority, she's a woman, she's a minority, she's part of the LGBTQ, never minority, right? So when they start using this propaganda machine with all these titles and stuff behind her to describe her as a being, right? Along on top of her being a professional athlete, that's just going to take things up to another level, right? And it became a case of because if they was trying to get Peter Willing out, they could have been off of Victor Bach to get Peter Willing out. He he wasn't that important. I'm gonna be honest. And that's no disrespect to his family, but y'all can clearly see, like, it is what it is. No matter how much the American government try to spend you, like I say, stop listening to words. It's all about the actions, right? Victor Bout was never offered for Peter Willing. He was never offered for was it Trevor Reed? I believe his name was, who was released um maybe a couple years ago. Um, they were never part of the Victor bout like that. He was never on the table. It took Brittany Griner to get him on the table, and I believe that was a chess move by Russia. I'm just being honest. That they successfully executed. You got to sometimes you got to tip your hat to your opponent, right? Um, but this was politically driven. This was publicly driven, right? Because the optics look crazy. We understand that. Um, I hope this is a lesson for not just Brittany Griner, but all Americans about how to travel abroad and understand that when you got that U.S. passport in your pocket or your bag or whatever the case may be, it's a pro and a con with it. Um, I mean, I'm already hearing the backlash. I'm pretty sure that's going to increase. Um, the American government really had no leverage within this situation. I mean, you really can't really can't fault them because, like I said, I believe Brittany Griner would have done 9 years in the Russell Penal County. No doubt about it. Um, if their intentions was to get her home, that they was fully committed to that, then they really did the best they could do. Just being honest. Like I said, Peter Williams' crimes are not. That's no propaganda behind it. He did something completely idiotic. And I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to disrespect the guy's family. Because unfortunately, your family kind of pay for these things when you do stuff on this scale. Um, but he's not. He's not really a victim. Like I don't really think Brittany Griner was a victim. I think she was. I think it was a degree of ignorance that she displayed. Um, but I also do believe that her charges were sensationalized and embellished. I do believe that, but she has a level of accountability in this, um, but not to the magnitude of 9 years. You know what I'm saying? Not to the magnitude of 9 years. It could be to the magnitude of don't ever come back to Russia again, or if Russia got some form of probation or something. But was that some 9 years? No, like that was dead wrong. We understood what the play was, right? With Peter Whelan, like he's dead wrong on all levels. He would have been incarcerated in just about any country on any continent around the planet I could think of. You know what I mean? Um, it's just the fact that it's Russia. You know what I'm saying? Whereas their history and their reputation, and they have who they have at the helm. Everybody know what kind of time they're on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let me switch gears real quick. But glad to see she's home. Um, home for the holidays. Her family can celebrate the holidays, and she can begin the healing process. Because she has a lot to heal from. Because I can't even imagine just spending a day in the county in Russia. Well, I'm gonna do my whatever their correlation equation is to the county. Like I can't even fathom. That's some other type time, right? Um, Now, let me switch gears real quick. Now I'm only going to do this briefly before I roll up out of here. Let me be clear, right? Van Jones do not speak for all black people. He's not a representative. He's not a representative of black people. Like meaning, he don't have nobody stamped him to go up and represent all black people. You understand? I don't know why he think that he has that level of authority or respect or privilege or whatever the case may be, whatever word you want to use right there, right? You get paid by CNN to do a job, right? And I will admit, and I will give you your flowers on this. Like a lot of these black causes, social causes, and social economical causes, you do speak on. You speak from the heart, and from what I can see, you're not swayed by who owns your network, right? That's as far as I'm gonna go with it, right? That still don't make you qualified to get up there and say you represent, you're the black representative on any topic, right? You could be the black representative within that room, but when you go to something like you did and poke your chest out and say what you said, you're crossing kind of lines, and that's not for you to do. You got to be anointed that position. You understand? Can't anoint yourself. Um, there is no way possible, for you to get up there and say, um, the black and Jewish community needed to get back to the foundation and the relationship we once had. Um, but what we once had, this is the part y'all missing. We can't be racist against ourselves. And that's what Kyrie and Kanye was trying to tell y'all. We can't be racist against ourselves. I don't care how much people want to whitewash history or try to frame history to support their personal agendas. The Negro, black face, whatever, or the original Jewish people. Let's not get confused. I don't care who don't like it. I don't care who don't want to hear it. It's just factual. We cannot hate ourselves. That's why Van Jones is a qualified to get up there and say that, because you make it seem like there's a distinction, there's a difference. There's no difference. Whether you're whether you're Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, all the original faces of that look like mine. I don't care how much they want to whitewash history and try to tell y'all something different. It's just facts. It's undebatable facts. They're not going to go nowhere because you don't like them. They're not going to go nowhere because it make it harder for you to process it. You know what I'm saying? Like I could never let somebody lead me that subscribes to what he ultimately has to subscribe to, right? And this isn't meant to be no bashing type statement or conversation. It's meant just to tell the truth. That's all I've been on a campaign of tell the truth for like the last 2 or 3 months. That's what my campaign is. Tell the truth. Stop whitewashing history. Stop politicizing history. Stop using history to commit economic warfare. You understand? Under false history at that. Um, the moment he said that, and I'm talking Van Jones, that the blacks and Jews need to get back to the solid foundation of relationship we once had, you lost me. You just confirmed everything I said just now. You reinforced everything I said just now. Um, stand down, champ. Because you don't have, now unless you're ready to say this the last time I'm going to be on CNN, you don't have any leeway. You don't have any room to go up there and tell the truth because of who cut your check. Ultimately, you know what I'm saying? And I believe you only doing that because you want to Memphis with your bosses, and I mean they're your bosses. You can say what you want to say is just the truth. They're your bosses, um, and you're too ignorant to understand your bosses and you are one and the same. Your bosses derive from us. Like it is what it is. Um, too many people are afraid to tell the truth. Too many people are kissing the ring. Um, if you're not going to stand on a principle, you're not really going to stand on what's right. You're really not going to stand in the fight. Then get out the way. You understand? You rolling with us, you rolling against us. Like get out the way. You rolling with this truth campaign, or you in the way of the truth campaign, you're gonna get run over. So just best you get out the way because you're not built or equipped to jump on board fully. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I'm not in your situation, but I mean, I think people that really know me in real life, like I've always talked like this. I'm gonna look in that mirror the same way and be proud of what I see. I'm saying like nothing worldly you can give me, material, finance, women, whatever, is gonna make me compromise myself. That's been tried, true, and tested. I come out passing with flying colors. You did. Um, yeah, that's all I got. Like Van Jones, stand down, champ. Go do you. You know what I mean? Hold that microphone or your earpiece or whatever they telling you to say in your ear. Stand on that. You don't stand on this, and it's cool. But don't go up there and make that statement. Air never, air again. Don't do that. Don't do that. Cause then it'll be a Van Jones campaign. I promise you. I'm a spearheaded. I promise you. Um, that was a bad look. If you can't see the damage you did by saying that, and then whoever made that public, whether it was you or somebody else, I guess I can't see the real damage that was done with that. Um, it was counterproductive to the fullest extent. Um, but I let you wear that for now. You know what I mean? But like I said, your first time here. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you come back again and check me out and see what I'm talking about. Like, share, subscribe, comment once again. I'll be right back at y'all. I appreciate y'all.